Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to City Skylines Mass Transit. I certainly hope you're having a wonderful day because I'm certainly excited to be back here in the beautiful city of Nerdshire. We're currently sitting on nearly $7 million. We're on 92,500 citizens. We have a little bit of demand for industrial/office zoning, a little bit more for commercial zoning, and just a teeny smidge more for residential zoning. And today, I was thinking we'd do a first-person tour. And then I thought, hold on a minute, let's not do that, because that's something I think I'll just do as an extra video at some point. I've been thinking about it a lot recently, and I'm really looking forward to going through the city and doing a first-person tour, but I don't think it would be right to do it as like a standalone episode, so I'll do it as like an extra thing, because let's be honest, a first-person tour of the city is not going to take like 30 minutes. It'll be like a 5 to 10 minute thing. I'll make it look good, cinematic, all that stuff. And we'll just go through the city. And we'll do it every like 10, 15, 20 episodes or whatever. Just because we can, basically. So that's my thinking. That's what's going to happen with the tour. But first, allow me to just deal with this problem over here. Because at the moment, we don't actually have enough water available for our citizens. So we're going to fix that problem by going over here. And what I'll do is throw... I mean, can I get another pump in there? I cannot. Can I get one there? I mean, I can. So, does that work? Or is that pump going to cause some issue? Yeah. So that pump, to me, looks like it's causing a few problems. Could I maybe fix that by lowering the terrain there, though? That's the real question. Because if that fixes the problem, then that extra pump should really be all we need, right? Yeah. It did pretty good, but not enough. Let me just move some of these pumps along then. So we can try and create a little bit more space for a few more pumps. So even one there will probably do a good job for us. So yeah, water availability is a little bit higher. I'm kind of wondering if I could get one more in. That would be kind of nice if I could just get one like there. Don't know if that's going to let me though. Let's find out. Oh yeah, it does. There we go. So go ahead and hook those up, and there we go. We have plenty of water for our citizens. Doesn't look like the water level's getting too low around those either, so that is good to see. It also looks like we might be on the verge of a pretty serious death wave across the city. Definitely seeing a lot of death down in the Sterling Hills, Franklin Square area. Oh, and speaking of district, I went ahead and extended the Birdsong Square district, so that it now extends, well, into all of the space that you can see highlighted there. I also added the old sign policy to Birdsong Square because I figured that we have a lot of avenues going around this area, so I want to try and encourage traffic to go around the area. So hopefully that's doing some good for us. I am aware that this road in particular is currently very, very busy, but that's kind of okay. I also went ahead and created Belmont Hills, which again, as you can see, is that area. So what I've done there is I've taken the district off of the avenues and the sort of forking roads there. And basically there's an old town policy, so all of the traffic is forced to go around the district if it's not going into the district. And that, I think, is a pretty good way to do things. And I obviously, like I said, there's a lot of traffic trying to get in here, and that's definitely a bit of a problem. But I think we'll come back to deal with that in a little bit. I'll be honest, traffic management in City Skylines is something that really doesn't interest me all that much currently. When I do get around to doing all the mods, installing things at Traffic President, sure, I'll go in, I'll see if I can fix a lot of the problems, but I mean, it's a city of 92,000 people, and I mean, to be fair, a city of this size probably would have more people, if we're being honest, I think. But it's a city of 92,000 people. There are going to be traffic problems, especially since I think the game sort of runs a simulation where it's always kind of rush hour. So, yeah, there's going to be some issues. Anyway, today I want to go ahead and start coming across this bridge, I think, so we can start doing some zoning over here. Because like I've said, I want to try and bring the city the whole way around here. So I like the idea of extending this avenue to, say, I don't know, that point. So it's just going to be one big avenue going straight down there. And I think that'll be pretty cool. I do kind of also like the idea of maybe trying to bring this avenue straight across. So something kind of like that. So that could potentially be one kind of big loop going around there, which might very well cause some issues because this road here is always very busy. Or rather, this road here is always very busy, but we'll see. But let's go ahead and just bring, you know, let's bring this back for a second actually, because I need to measure this properly. So I want this to come out, and that's going to be going to there, and that'll be fine. So then what I want to do is bring this up. So if I bring that straight up to there, I bring this straight across, that can connect, and there we go. So that is a kind of loop that we could go for that I think would probably work kind of well. I do kind of like the idea though of maybe going for a bit of a curve on this. So maybe we bring, you know, that kind of thing in, turn on grid and road guidelines, and we can totally go ahead and say, hey, why don't we do, you know, that kind of curve. Not perfect, but it's certainly something. Bulldoze those guys, and we'll do the same down here. We'll go for an even bigger curve on this end because I think we totally can. So something kind of like that. And that right there is a road that some traffic might choose to use currently because it's going to let them go from here to here directly without having to go through the city. So we might find that that road becomes very, very useful. But what I'm also thinking is that I could perhaps go ahead and say, hey, why don't we bring an avenue off of here, bring it straight up and sort of into the heart of this space. Now, the reason for that is that there is going to be a lot of zoning up here, so it is going to need an avenue connecting to that space. Alternatively, maybe it would make a bit more sense to do this sort of thing and sort of that. Bulldoze the middle one, bulldoze these ones. And we can have two avenues going up into this space. Now, I'm not entirely sure just how far the city is going to go back from that main lake that I'm looking at, but I think two avenues sort of serving one area is probably going to be a pretty good thing. What that also means is I can go ahead and say, you know, why don't we just upgrade this entire stretch of road into a 6-lane road? Now, that does get rid of the arches on that bridge, but I think that's probably going to be okay. I don't think that bothers me too much, and I do like the idea of upgrading this whole thing to have more lanes. I think that's just going to be a really good idea for that entire stretch of road, including this bit through here, because that is going to become a road that gets used a lot more as a result of this connection. So I think that'll be fine, but I think what my priority is going to be is, number one, moving these guys, moving the sewage outflow pipes from that side, because I really don't like them over there. I don't know if I want industry. Well, maybe we could put a big industrial area in there. I just don't think it would be very nice, and we kind of have a space down here that we can maybe cram a bunch of these into. So if we begin by bulldozing that bit of pipe, we can then go ahead and bulldoze these buildings. So all of those. And then I want to try and move this to there, all right? Then I want to move, what is going on with this? Then I want to move this one right next to it if I possibly can, which I absolutely can do. Same with this one, as close to it as I can possibly get it. And then these two over here are going to be slightly tricky because I can't get them in there. I could get them there, so I guess maybe the industrial zone will go around to about that point. That might just have to be the case. So maybe like, maybe there and there right next to it is where those can go to. So we'll go ahead and get rid of the turbine things there. Turbine things, good job me with the mastery of the English language there. But we'll connect these up and hope for the best. So what I think we'll do is get rid of the office zoning here. Throw in a bunch of industrial zoning. We could even go so far as to bring a little road off of that point. Just like so. And maybe down a little bit as well. So something like that. Just so we can get a little bit more zoning in there right up against these things so they look like they're actually a part of the industrial zone as opposed to just sort of thrown in there. Same with there, I think. And yeah, that does give us some offices sort of in the middle of all of that, but that's probably fine. That's probably not too much of an issue. So what I'll do here is I'm going to bring this road straight in and right up to the edge of the key there. And that's going to be a marker for where this industrial zoning is going to end. Because I think I will throw some industrial stuff in here because currently we don't actually have, currently we do have a lot of demand for industrial zoning. And I would like to make a move in terms of getting rid of a lot of that demand. Now, connecting that straight through might prove to be a bit of an issue later down the line, but if I do my district zoning properly, we should be fine. We really shouldn't have too much trouble with that as long as I do my job. So we'll see. If I do that as well, that gives us some nice equal zoning, and perhaps something like, let's see, this as well. That doesn't line up perfectly, so that'll do right there. And then maybe just this road can come in, I don't know, something like that, possibly? Yeah, almost. That almost worked. So something kind of like that. There we go. Then can that come across? Yeah, okay, that totally works. That gives us a decent amount of industrial zoning. Bring that up as well, and yeah, there we go. That's a decent bit of industrial zoning. I think it'll do the job. I think it'll look really good, and it will nicely surround the lake, which is exactly what we're going for. So all of that, and then maybe not these bits. So everything around there is going to be industry. And I'm really excited to start surrounding this lake properly. I really am so excited to start getting, you know, zoning going the whole way around the lake. I think it is going to look really, really good when it's done. It's just going to look a little bit naff until it is done. Because, you know, it's all a work in progress. So, at this point, whilst we're just doing a bit of road work and a bit of general tomfoolery, it's a word that is not used enough, if I do say so myself. Whilst we're doing all of this, I suppose I should probably talk about why there have been no videos for the last couple of days. Basically, I took time off. I don't like getting really real in these videos because it's a Let's Play, man. You're tuning into this to tune out and like procrastinate for 35 minutes or something. Like that's why I watch videos on YouTube all the time. I do it to skip work. I watch people play video games so I don't have to play video games. Like that's you know, every job at some point you will procrastinate, including a job where you have to play video games, so that therefore you procrastinate by watching someone else play them. Anyway, the point is, I don't like getting heavy in these because it's a way to zone out. It's this, it's that, it's the other. But from time to time, I get messages from people who say, hey, your videos help me out with this, or help me out with this, or whatever. And number one, every time I read that, I get a little emotional because that's part of the reason I started making videos. Because I wanted to help myself because I wasn't in a very good place. So I thought, hey, I've seen other people make videos on YouTube. Why don't I do that? So I did. I started making videos on YouTube, and it was a really good way to zone out for a while. Zone out from real life for a while. But the point is, I never really saw anyone that I watched start talking all of a sudden in the middle of a Let's Play about their troubles. And I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, life is so hard for me at the moment. Because it's alright. You know, things are pretty good. I'm having a good time. I'm not as healthy as I'd like to be. My diet is terrible. But for the most part, pretty good. I've just been stressed, basically. I've been really stressed. I mentioned it in a previous episode that I've been stressed recently and took a little bit of time off, and I just sort of decided on a whim that I was going to force myself to take a little bit of time away from making videos because I just wasn't feeling like forcing myself to make videos, and that's really just the truth of it. I really just didn't feel up to it. I didn't feel like I could do a good job. So I said, in that case, I'm not gonna do my job for a little bit. And I'm glad that I took that decision because I feel a little better for it. I'll admit, I'm currently recording this video shortly after tweeting about making this decision. So yeah, I needed a break. Basically, it's that simple. I just wanted to take some time for me to relax. And on top of that, I mean, again, not to get too real, but the world is a really, really scary place recently, and it's been tough watching a lot of the stuff that's happened recently, and it's been tough sort of just going, let's just get on with it. Let's just get on with everything and act like everything's fine, because sometimes it is a bit tough to look at the world and go, everything's fine, because it's kind of a scary place. Anyway, like I said, stressed, this, that, the other, whatever. Videos are gonna slowly get back to normal. Today is just gonna be this video. Tomorrow, there actually won't be a City Skylines video because I'm starting up a new Let's Play that people have been asking me for a really long time. So I'd encourage you to go to the comments and perhaps guess about what that game may very well be. I'll give you a hint. It revolves around transport and a fever. Oh, wait a minute. No, wait a minute. Yeah, it's transport fever is what I'm getting at, basically. That was a joke, by the way. I know I just gave it away. But yeah, people have been asking me for a while to play Transport Fever again, and I thought I would start it up around the time that Mass Transit actually came out, because I thought, hey, Mass Transit and Transport Fever seemed like a match made in heaven. They're both about a very similar topic. But then I didn't, because I got into playing a lot of other video games and didn't really have the time to start a Transport Fever series, and I was kind of just really enjoying like Grand Theft Auto RP, if I'm honest. So yeah, that's story time, I guess. That is what that is, man. I don't know where I was going with all of that, but it feels good to get a lot of that off my chest with regards to like being stressed and stuff like that. Which, by the way, like I said, from time to time I do get messages from people saying my videos have helped them out, and I very much encourage you to, if you're ever feeling down or anything, escaping from that stuff is totally fine. People like to say, oh, you have to face it head on, you have to take it head on and deal with it. Nah, man, like if you don't feel like doing something or anything and you just sort of want to go watch people play video games, like that is okay. And it is okay to sort of not feel like doing anything. Taking a break and all that, it's really hard for me to do, but every time I do it, I'm glad I did. So what I'm saying is, do as I say, not as I do, because this will probably be my last break for a long time. So yeah, just, you know, taking a break, it's a good thing. You'll thank yourself for it. So if you're being stressed, if you're being worried, there's probably good reason, but it's also a good idea to take a break from time to time. Anyway, all that rambling aside, no man, this episode title is probably going to be something like Real Talk. So the thumbnail is going to have nothing to do with like the episode at all, now that I think about it. Anyway, we've got all this road stuff in here. I think before I go ahead and fill it all up with zoning, I want to do the districts first. So I'm actually going to go ahead and extend this industrial area. So it's all going to be one big old industrial area. And I'm kind of okay with that. Although I do realize I want to get rid of this, because that would cause some issues with traffic. So I want this to just sort of be one big industrial space that goes up to there. And I want it to come down and around because I want to have the same old town policy on all of this. So basically, if you are not going to the industrial area, you ain't gonna be in the industrial area. And that's totally fine by me. So we'll do that sort of thing. We'll take it off of the avenue. But what that's also going to do is mean that this road here isn't going to be abused by traffic. And that is very important to me. So that road the whole way through there also needs to be cleared up. That's fine as is. So yeah, that's going to let traffic sort of move around there without too much hassle, which is good. And I think that right there will just be a nice little connection between the two. So I think there is still an old time policy. No, there isn't actually an old time policy in Holly Park. But no, there is. So I guess we'll see how traffic deals with that. I'm not really sure how it will, but we shall see. how that goes, I suppose. Right. So I want to go ahead and put the rest of the district zoning in here as well. So this is going to sort of come up and around here a little bit, up onto this road and across, and then done. So done and around like this, and that right there is going to be just another district. And I really want to be careful with my districts. I'm going to be adjusting these and doing all that stuff to make sure they work. I also want to start doing, maybe this district can be mostly residential with schools out policy. So that means that the majority of the Sims in that district will be like, hey, let's just go work in like level 1 businesses. And that is important. It is very important that we have people that can work in factories and all that stuff. So it might not be a terrible idea to have a schools out policy in one of these districts, especially this one because it is right next to the industrial area. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Now this entire district, Fairview Heights, is going to extend all the way up to here and right around, then onto this and across. I kind of like going for big districts as well recently. I don't know why. I just, you know, they look really cool when you zoom out and look at all the districts and they're following the roads and the curves and all that stuff. And again, if you've been watching me play City Skylines for a long time, you'll be more than aware that I will redo a district 10 times over to make it look good. For no other reason than it looks good. Now the edge of that one's a little bit messy, but there's not a lot I can do about that because it doesn't really snap to anything. So just get rid of all of you and get rid of all of you. And the edge of that district looks absolutely disgusting right now. That little bit can go there. We don't really need that. Yeah, edge of that district is awful looking. Good lord. Anyway, I guess at this point, zoning is going to be necessary. So the high district, I think for the most part, is going to be a couple of blocks of commercial. And there and there and there and there. So commercial in those spots. But then I kind of like the idea of the rest of it literally just being all residential. I like the idea of a big chunk of residential zoning way out here. I might even do a high-rise ban since it is a bit, I just whistled. Since it is a lot further out of the city. So I think the high district is going to have Old Sun. It is going to have high-rise ban, but it's going to have high-tech housing. So it's going to have increased land value, but smaller buildings. And I think that's going to be a good idea. VIP area is, no, that's fine. Encourage biking. We'll not bother with heavy traffic ban. That'll be fine. We'll also go ahead and do, I don't know, free public transport. No. Education boost, perhaps? Possibly. Might be an idea. Maybe we don't do high-tech housing and instead we do schools out. So smaller buildings, and they're encouraged to sort of go work over there. High ticket prices prefer ferries. I'd love to have a district that prefers ferries, but I don't think that's going to happen right now. But Fairview Heights, I think, will be the opposite. So education boost, recycling. It will have high-rise ban. It will have Old Town, but also high-tech housing. So I think that could be kind of cool. I think we might be onto something pretty cool there. Let's go ahead and put services in as well. So we have education boost over here. So university right in the middle of the area. Am I going to be that guy? Am I going to be the one that's like, hey, this district is terrible in terms of education. Hey, this one's perfect. Apparently, I am going to be that guy. So there you go. Elementary school can go there. And what I'll do is just have pathways through here. So that is all going to be dedicated to education, basically, is what this entire area is going to be dedicated to. And I'm kind of okay with that. I think that's okay. I think it's fine to have this area dedicated to education. Put a couple of trees around there just to make the area look kind of interesting. Maybe a rock. Maybe a rock there as well. And a couple of bushes would be really nice too. So just a few of those. Around there, and just down around there as well, just to make the area look kind of cool. So that's going to have education like crazy. This area, not so much. As for services, I mean, I think a hospital over here, really good idea. I know that just took up one of my blocks of commercial zoning, but that's fine. I'm not too worried. So hospital can go right there. Fire coverage, I'm also going to put sort of there. Then policing can be there. So we sort of have this. Actually, let's just move those to there as well. So we're going to have this nice block of services right in the middle of this space. And I think that'll be really good. We could, of course, go ahead and throw in, like, stuff like the cryo preservatory, the medical laboratory. I mean, I guess I might as well. Let's throw that in there. Another zone of, you know, thingy zoning gone, commercial zoning gone, but I'm not worried. Throw that in, and then, you know, get rid of that. So yeah, that area just looks kind of interesting, really. Put a little tree in there. Some bushes. And there we go. That just looks nice. So what we're going to need to do next is go ahead and basically zone Fairview Heights. I usually don't put residential along avenues, but I don't mind too much here. I like the idea that these areas are going to be fundamentally for people to live in. I do like that as a thing. I'll put some shops in, but I like the idea of this area as just this giant area for people to, you know, commute from here to the city. I think that'll be a really nice boost. So the last thing we need to do... Oh, we don't need to do pipes. We've done the pipes. Okay. I guess at this point, my worry, though, is that, yeah, people are going to start building out here, and there is no electricity to go around, so... I think what I'm gonna... Why are you guys flooded? Why is there a flood warning there? I think what I'm gonna try and do then is get some electrical connections in there. So if I go ahead and build a park, for example, let's say there, or can I get one of the big ones in? No, not really. What about this one? Oh, that works. So a park there. And a little pathway up beside it. Can I... Will that actually connect is my question. I don't think it will. Which is kind of a shame, actually. Turn off grid snapping for a second. Do that. That doesn't actually connect, does it? No. Oh, it does! Just about connect. Okay. Well, that right there, I think, is gonna be one heck of an addition to the city. Once that starts building, we're going to have so many people in this space. We do need to get some crematoriums out here. Totally forgot about those. So we'll throw a crematorium just next to the police station and also next to the fire station, just so we have two of them right there. I'm also going to throw a crematorium just there and there. Again, just so we have two up in that area as well. And then these guys are going to need some connections to the power grid because they don't currently have them, which is a bit of a shame. So just run a thing from there to there. So that should connect those guys up. And eventually, of course, we will not need those power lines. This entire area will eventually be connected, but already, I mean, I'm seeing one slight issue that traffic is sort of cheating and going through here, but for the most part, I mean, this looks pretty cool to me. I am actually quite happy with how this is turning out. I think I'm also going to select that road and say priority road. So Graham Boulevard is going to be a priority road for a lot of traffic. I'm hoping that's going to pull a lot of traffic away from this road here. And pull a lot of traffic through as well. So we might see this just become a ring road for a lot of the city, but that looks cool to me. I'm really, really excited. Why are we losing so much money? I guess a lot of people are dying. Yeah. We did also just build a bunch of schools when we really didn't need them because we do have... Oh, actually, elementary school capacity, not good. High school, that's a problem. Definitely going to need to look into that. But for the most part, I think my job is going to be to just wait. I think we just got to wait for this area to build up. There we go. This area is looking pretty good, if I do say so myself. There is one slight problem, though. Never mind the fact that the trees in the bottom right are on fire. Don't know how that happened. The one slight problem is that traffic is already becoming a problem over here and also all the way over here. That could be to do with the fact that, number one, there isn't actually a highway connection to this area. And number two, that a lot of these people are moving in all in one go. But we may run into some traffic problems in this area in the future, so we may very well end up having to bring a bit of a highway off of here and up towards this space. Which, honestly, I wouldn't be against doing anyway, so... we'll see, I suppose. I am a little bit peeved about my trees getting burnt there. I know they'll come back eventually, but I just placed them and I kind of like them, so yeah. Not not the best thing in the world there from the trees. Either way, at this point, we have pretty much surrounded the entire lake there, and I think it looks pretty darn good indeed. Like, you get in here and you look around, and there's just buildings everywhere. I think that looks really, really cool. What that also means is technically I could totally put like a ferry thing down here and like over there and have people just go across the lake. I think that could be kind of fun. So we will probably get around doing some ferries in here at some point. But ladies and gents, I think what I'm going to go ahead and do is actually just leave it there for today. Maybe a little bit of a shorter episode than usual. Next time I want to go ahead and start filling up this space in here and some space down here as well. I just want to sort of flesh the city out. Because to be honest, I think it will sort of go about roughly where my mouse is going there is about as far as I want the city itself to kind of go. And then the rest around that's just going to fade out into farms or low density stuff or whatever. I realize I have said no high rises over here, but these are still kind of big buildings. Although I guess there are some properly big buildings over here, so they are a bit smaller. I'd still like them to be even smaller than they currently are. Either way, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, I'm going to leave it there for today, so thank you kind of for watching. This has been City Skylines Mass Transit Part 20. And as always, it's been an absolute pleasure. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!